There's a trend that's sweeping through businesses and improving both productivity and results. Yet despite it being popular amongst many large organisations, there are so many solopreneurs that haven't even heard of it. And this is a shame because it's simple to implement and it can be a real game changer when it comes to productivity. Now what I'm talking about is objectives and key results, or also known as OKRs. OKRs were initially implemented at Intel but really made famous when they were used at Google and have been instrumental in helping that company to grow. They're now used at many large organisations such as Microsoft, Spotify and Dell. If you're a one-person business, one of the big benefits is OKRs can provide you a real sense of focus and clarity. And also they're very simple to implement because let's face it, who's got time for a complicated productivity system to add to their existing workload? So now let's take a quick look at some examples of OKRs. Here's our first example where the objective is expand client base. And there are 3 key results here which are to support that objective. You can really think of the objective as being like a goal or a direction that you want to take, and then the key results are in place, which are the steps that you're going to take to reach that goal. Here's our next OKR, where the objective is to enhance personal brand. Now I think it's worth mentioning here that when you're setting a key result, I think they work best when they are quantifiable or measurable. So in this case, the first one is increase LinkedIn connections by 30%. You can definitely say at the end of the time period whether you have actually hit that key result. An example maybe of a bad key result would be do more on LinkedIn, where it's a little bit wishy-washy and you wouldn't be able to tell whether you'd actually hit that given goal. And here's our final example of an OKR, which is improve work-life balance. Now, I think it's worth saying here, an objective is really whatever is important to your business. It doesn't necessarily have to all be about increasing sales or increasing revenue. Something like improving work-life balance could be really important to an overworked freelancer or creator or solopreneur. So now let's take a look at the steps to set up OKRs in your business. The first step is defining your objectives. And this is really setting the direction for where you want your business to be going. So think about where you want to be in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, and maybe even 3 years' time. And then you can set your objectives so you can hit those goals. As I mentioned earlier, setting objectives is very personal, but here are some ideas for areas that you might want to consider. So the first one would be growing overall revenue or increasing your client base. Another area could be reducing your work hours whilst at the same time maintaining your revenue or your income. Another thing particularly for freelancers and also many one-person businesses is creating a predictable income and reducing what's sometimes called feast or famine, or that roller coaster of income. Another area could be improving personal and professional skills. And finally, creating internal systems to improve your productivity. So how many objectives should you have at any one particular time? I'd recommend between 3 and 5. Below that, and well, basically you may not have enough to actually make a significant difference to your business, but if you have more than that, then you can actually lose focus and get overwhelmed. So 3 to 5 is a good number. Step 2 is crafting your key results. Now you want to make these so that they're challenging but also attainable. There's nothing more soul destroying than at the end of a period you have actually failed at reaching any of your goals. But you do want to make them a little bit of a stretch so that you do actually have to work quite hard to reach them. Also remember to make them quantifiable and measurable so you can actually tell whether you've hit your goal or not. Step 3 is setting a time frame. Now a lot of businesses set a 3-month time frame, which fits quite nicely into the quarters of the year. And this may work for you, but it's not necessarily set in stone. You may wish to choose a 1-month time frame or a 6 or 12-month time frame, whatever works for your particular business. Personally, I find that a 1-month time frame works very well for me because this allows me to react to any opportunities or demands that are placed on my business. The fourth and final step is to perform regular reviews. Don't just set it and forget it. What you should be doing is looking at your OKRs on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on what your time frame is, and then making sure that you're actually on track to achieve them. If you need help keeping track of your OKRs, there are some software tools out there which will help you do just that. One of them is called Purdo. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, which is a specific OKR piece of software, and it does have a free tier, so it's totally suitable for solopreneurs. Another one is called Profit.co, which is similar, also has a free tier, so you can get started whatever your budget is. Another option is to use Notion, which is one of my favourite productivity tools, and that allows you to set up your OKRs in exactly the way that you like to see them. I hope you found this introduction to OKRs useful. I've started using them in my business and found them to be a really great tool to use. If you'd like to know more about using OKRs in Notion, then I've created this video which will show you how to get started.